Welcome to the Cedar Park United podcast. Speaking to the gathered congregations of the West Island and Beyond United Churches cluster, Pastoral Minister Jessica Gauthier invites us all to consider how often we are tempted to clutch our time, resources, and energy as if we could have control by holding on tightly, but we can't take any of it with us. Holy abundance is poured out extravagantly, not hoarded. What if we lived the same way, she asks, spending our time, our talent, and our love wastefully, trusting God to make it enough.
So last Sunday was the first time that I had the privilege of attending a YBUC summer cluster service. It was at St. Genevieve. It was at St. Jenny's. So that was my very first summer cluster service ever. St. Jenny's, as it is affectionately called. And as I walked toward the building, before I even got to the doors, I saw something that stopped me in my tracks. Lobelia cardinalis, cardinal flower. This is a native plant that I have been trying to find for years. It's not something you see every day. It grows in wet ground, and it blooms bright red. It attracts hummingbirds. And as I stood there looking at it, I thought, you never know what you're going to find when you step into another community's home. It felt like a little gift, a sign, a whisper. You'll find what you seek in unexpected places. I'm really looking forward to visiting more churches in our cluster in the weeks ahead because I believe we have so much to offer each other, so much to share, to learn, to receive. Each of our communities of faith stewards something precious. And stewardship, as I understand it, it's not about protecting what's ours. It's about working towards our shared purpose. And so I've been thinking about this since Sunday in relation to the parable from Luke we just heard, the rich man, the barns. So this man isn't dishonest. He's not reckless. He's careful. He's strategic. He's planning for the future. But the plans are only for himself. To build bigger barns and store up grain and secure his own comfort. There's no gratitude. There's no community. There's no curiosity even about who else might benefit from all that surplus of grain. And I think that's the foolish part. It's the assumption that wealth makes him safe, that ownership is abundance, that isolation is security. The word Jesus uses for fool, aphron, in Greek, it means it's unthinking, it's senseless, it's foolish, someone who has no practical wisdom, no common sense. It's about a kind of forgetfulness. It's not an insult or said out of cruelty. It's a warning. Jesus is telling this parable, and I'm hearing God in my head, and she's saying sorrowfully, "Oh, you foolish, foolish, foolish one. You have lost touch with what matters. You've forgotten wisdom. You've lost sight of the big picture. You've become so focused inward that you've forgotten how to live." And we all do this sometimes. We cling. We hoard, sometimes out of fear, sometimes out of habit. We convince ourselves that we're just being responsible. But I hear Jesus inviting us to something else, to a way of trust, to a way of loosening our grip. So some of us are familiar with the phrase, let go and let God. You know, I don't think this expression is about passivity or avoidance, especially because it's often used in treatment programs for addiction, which involve so much work. I think this expression, let go and let God, it's about releasing the illusion of control, doing that deep and daily work of healing, surrender, transformation. It's not that we have no work to do. It's just that we were never meant to carry it alone. So, who are we stewarding all of this for? Is it for us? Is it to preserve our comfort, to protect what we've built, to maintain how we do things? Or are we, the church, holding a gift for the world that involves pouring ourselves out to share that good news, to give what we ourselves have been given? We have, since spring, we've been marking the centennial of the United Church. And 100 years is certainly something to celebrate. But also, think about attending the 100th birthday party of a beloved elder. There is joy, yes, but there is also a quiet awareness of what's changed, of what must be let go, of how different the future will look. We cannot store up life. We cannot store up time. We can only spend it or give it away. That's what Jesus did. We can give our lives, our communities to God, and then what has been previously hoarded will become a harvest. And we can give out of our abundance and then let that be carried out to the world, or carry it ourselves out into the world. We don't need to build bigger barns. We need to grow deeper roots. And to do that, we need each other. So maybe one of the things we're called to see in a new way is these spaces that are made holy through our worship. Sanctuaries, pulpits, the Lord's table, whether we call it the chancel or the stage, these places can start to feel like they belong to somebody else, the minister maybe. But what if we began to see them differently? What if these spaces belong to the whole people of God? After all, liturgy actually literally means the work of the people. So what is our work here this morning and every time we gather? Well, in worship, we give our praise and our love and our whole selves back to God. And our roots grow deeper. We go out into the world and live out that word that we have received and shared, and others can then receive what we were never meant to hold on to. And so, what are all these plants doing on the table? This is the objective lesson. It's from my days teaching elementary school. Every single one of these plants started as a cutting or a division from people in this church, from members of my family, from friends, from a plant I saw dying on the street. People know I love plants, and I seem to accumulate them. The flowers are also from my home, where they bloom all over because I have no grass in my front yard, in chaotic profusion with the haskap and gooseberry and currant and blueberry bushes. I didn't have room for all these plants. There are twice as many at home that just need a little more loving care. So I decided to give them away. I have touched and loved them all. Each one of these plants is saturated with prayer. And after the service is over, I encourage you to come, be comfortable on the stage or the chancel, whatever you call it, gather around the table and take a look. Take a plant. Take some flowers for yourself. Make a nosegay. Give some to a friend. You know, some people love bouquets and others don't. They hate them because the flowers fade. But, you know, cutting these flowers didn't harm the plants from which they were cut at all. In fact, it will help them to thrive because now the roots will go deeper. They'll be spending their energy growing deeper roots, and the flowers will come back bigger and even more full and glorious next year. We don't lose when we let go so our neighbor can breathe, so the hungry can be fed, so the weary are welcomed, and so our churches can grow into what they were always meant to be. Abundance is meant to be shared, not stored. Food is for feasting together. Life is for living. Love is for loving. Thanks be to God.
Thank you for listening to the Cedar Park United podcast. If it inspired you, or comforted you, or even ruffled your feathers in a good way, please consider leaving a positive rating or subscribing to help others find their way here too. It matters.